SportsBeat is powered by KSLSports.com.
Ingles to Mitchell. He'll drive baseline. Oh, hammer home. Oh, Donovan explodes on top of the rim. 4.5 to play. They get it back. Bogey, catch and shoot. Bang. 7-point game. Mitchell on a drive. Contact, floater. Oh, clutch. Donovan Mitchell.
Welcome to the final sports beat of the decade. Jeremiah Jensen and Sam Farnsworth with you for the next 45 minutes. It was a wild week for the Utah Jazz. We'll look back at that roster move and the wins as well.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. The Utes, they'll be playing in the Alamo Bowl down in Texas in 2 nights from now. Why? It might be tricky to prepare for that Longhorns defense, though. You'll hear that answer coming up a bit. Let's talk Utah Jazz. Guard Donovan Mitchell has scored 30 or more points in 5 of the last 8 games. All 5 of those wins. No surprise there. The latest 30-pointer coming last night at Staples Center against the LA Clippers. The Jazz have now won 2 of 3 meetings with the Clippers this season. Mitchell showed off every part of that skill set. He sunk 13 of 23 shots in this game. 4 of 9 from three-point range as well. He also showed his blow-by ability on this play when he got Kawhi Leonard to bite on the pump, and he dunked it home. But he also pulled down 7 boards and dished out 9 assists. The ability to see the floor while creating scoring opportunities is what drew the attention from his team last night.
You know, he had one play, he got in the paint and he'd been finishing, and he missed Royce in the corner, and he told him at timeout, you know, so I think his awareness of his teammates, coupled with his ability to attack, he's finding a good balance.
You know, he gets to his spots. He's an explosive scorer. He makes the right reads. He's a hard person to guard, so he draws a lot of attention. You know, it's amazing just seeing all the stuff he does on the court, especially watching him now for 2 nights in a row.
We have to take a short break. When we come back, more from the Utes at the Alamo Bowl.
And what a week for the Utah Jazz.
Back to Clarkson. He'll grab it, hang it, and score it for 2.
The trade for Jordan Clarkson seeing instant results, and Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert playing like all-stars. We look back on a big win in L.A. next.
Yeah, we also say goodbye to 2019, but before we do, we look back at some of the great moments that define sports in the state of Utah. Stay with us.
SportsBeat is powered by KSLSports.com.
Well, it's time for us to say goodbye to 2019. But before we do, we want to take a look back at the moments that we'll remember long after.
Yeah, the Aggies run to the NCAA tournament last spring, or maybe the Utes' 11-win season this fall, and obviously everything in between as well. Let's look back at the best sports stories in our state this past year.
He was big and tall.
It was emotional at first. When it first happened, I couldn't believe it. It's like I don't even know how to act.
It's my honor to announce the 2023 All-Star Game will take place here in Salt Lake City.
Weatherington will try again. It's Utah with the sweet tooth tonight. Early 4-0 lead. That's a pick and roll.
Battled up and intercepted. Did they get it? If they got it, it's over.
The ruling on the field stands. Interception.
It's over.
Final seconds falling away. Oh!
Easton throws an interception. Jalen Johnson down the sideline. All the way. Touchdown, Utah.
Break free is Bogdanovich corner wide open.
Look forward to what's come.
You work for this your whole entire life. I'm going to make it this time. I want to go out there and try my best.
Jones! This kid, that was John Stockton right there. That was Steve Nash. Freshman?
This kid has something. He's got game.
It's just what you dream of ever since you started playing football, you know, so it's awesome.
I just remember talking to my teammates
summer workouts, like, we got to make another run. All the practices you've been through, all the sprints, all the hard work, all the blood, the sweat, the tears that you guys went through, it all makes it worth it, you know?
You talk about wrestling a lot, that guy's like the ultimate warrior. You know, you remember that guy? He's just got to get a few strings around his biceps.
We want to be mentioned with the elite teams in the country. Our players and myself, we're not content with where we're at yet.
Aggies trying to rip it from him again, and they take it away. Touchdown! David Woodward wants it more.
Nobody had us in this position except for us. Nobody had us here.
Utah State has beaten Nevada. 12th ranked Wolfpack goes down in Logan.
Twins to either side. Snap Zach, handoff Tyson to the 5-4-3. Piles pushing. He gets to the goal line.
He's in.
No signal.
He's in.
They mark him short, but he's
Touchdown,
in the end zone.
touchdown.
They signal touchdown. He got in, and the Cougars win.
Zach to the 25, 20, 15, 10-5. He gallops into the end zone, and he gallops into history. And he's the all-time leading rusher in Utah football history.
Number 82, Johnny Stott.
That's a dream. He's our Superman.
Oh, it's the best experience. Oh, it's been my life dream to do it all.
Nixon is amazing. He went through chemotherapy, an amputation, radiation, and kept a smile on his face. He was a joy. And then his cancer continued to spread slowly, and unfortunately, he passed away this past June 2019. I think that fighting spirit that he has instilled has spread and helped others.
Sam, you got a moment
That's awesome.
Stood out to you the most?
So many great moments. For me, I really enjoyed the high school football season, my first back in several years, obviously. But for me, it's what the Jazz are doing, what they've done in the offseason, getting the All-Star game, and what they're currently doing now that's really standing out in my mind for this year.
Yeah, that Aggie team was magical, making it to the NCAA tournament. Craig Smith's done a great job there. But for me, it's personal. It's Nixon Walcott. That sweet boy who, his fight against cancer, it ended. It didn't end the way we wanted it to, but his legacy is going to live on in the Nixon Strong Foundation. But you meet so many great people, and especially a sweet boy like that that fights and gives it everything he has. That's what this is really all about, and it helps you keep everything in perspective. Everything else is just a game.
Yeah, he definitely will leave a lasting legacy for sure. Nixon Strong. All right. Well, let's move on to the NBA now, where today the Thunder, 3 games behind the Jazz in the standings. They were in Toronto today. Chris Boucher with the alley-oop there for the 2-point lead. Minute to go, OKC down 1. Not sure what happened here, but there was no whistle. So Chris Paul shoots and scores. Kyle Lowry didn't like it. Thunder get a clutch bucket from, look at that, Kyle Lowry didn't even know what's going on. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, well, he scores with the Thunder down 2, and now they've won 7 of their last 10 games. Well, let's see. Joe Ingles, he ripped the Nets for 18 three-pointers over the past 3 games. Donovan Mitchell filled the stat sheet with back-to-back 30-point games. Damian Lillard doubted the defensive dominance of Rudy Gobert. And then there was that dunk. Yeah, that dunk. I think it's time for us to relive this past week of the Jazz. It's time to rewind.
I think it will be important, you know, which one of those guys can have a bigger impact on the defensive end of the floor, and who can protect, you know, that paint and rebound the ball better. But I think Whiteside is the best defensive center, shot blocking center in the league.
The Jazz at home 11-3, one of the best records in the NBA with Donovan Mitchell and 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, Rudy Gobert. Driving inside, and slammed in by Rudy Gobert. 3 Ingles. He hits another one. With a drive by Ingles, so he's hit 2 threes. He's penetrated inside.
By Joe Ingles, he picked up a taunting technical.
Here comes Ingles. He's hit 2 threes. He's hit 3.
This kid is on fire. I mean, what a start for Ingles.
come in. Comes in the Christmas Eve trade just a couple days ago in exchange for Dante Exum.
It was a good game. I got a warm welcome from all the fans. It was nice. I love the energy here. It was great.
Jordan Clarkson with an open lane and an off-balance shot. Clarkson.
You know how hard is pounding, right? His first game in a new place to get his first bucket.
With the winning team in Utah. Nice step back put in. Mitchell with a sweet jab, and he gets the dude. Three-point shot to fall. Right there.
Look at that.
Shot.
What is he now? 3 of 6 from the field.
Here, dancing on Trent. There for the Blazers. Simon. Here comes Gobert, who drops a hammer with a nice feed from Donovan Mitchell. Utah is only taking 2 free throws. That's a nice looking three.
And is having word.
Nice stutter step by Lillard, who takes it right to the rack. Teams from a season ago, 50 for Utah, 53 for Portland, and there's a big-time dunk by Gobert, who led the NBA in dunks. Rebound behind the back, Mitchell. Oh, what a shot! Donovan Mitchell. Here is Mitchell. Outside Ingles, 3.
He's done it all.
22. Oh, nice step back, Mitchell.
My goodness. Donovan Mitchell stopping on a dime.
Here's Nurkic. Nice crossover by Mitchell. Oh, yeah, did the two-step to Mitchell. Drives on Simons for 2. And a foul. Lillard will drive and rejected by Gobert.
But I think Whiteside is the best defensive center, shot blocking center in the league.
Welcome to Staples Center on this Saturday night. The Jazz jump on the road once again to play the 23-win Clippers. You'll see it right here, right now. Off it goes. Joe Ingles red hot, a blade on that catch and shoot 3. The joke is a little glance back to that Clipper bench. Joe and another little look back at Kawhi. Got a short clock. It's down to 3, down to 2. Clarkson has to take it. It's up and down. Good shot. Big shot. Here's Donovan, pumps up a 3, rainbows it. Holy shot. Nice shot. Donovan past midcourt, drives, puts a shoulder down, step back, off balance 3. It's up and oh my. That net barely moved. That net is singing here tonight so far. Drive down the baseline. Joe got a finger on it. Leonard for 3. He had all night to put that shot up.
Well, and Joe had the steal.
Not fall, and the Jazz get a break. Quick outlet pass. Bogey on the drive inside. That should help pick up some of his confidence.
Bogey takeoff.
On the floor. Here's Moutier off to Donovan Mitchell. Drives baseline. He'll stop and go inside left hand. Bank it home. Wow. I cannot believe that shot by Donovan. Ingles to Mitchell. He'll drive baseline. Oh, hammer home. Oh, Donovan explodes on top of the rim. 4.5 to play. They get it back. Bogey, catch and shoot. Bang. 7-point game. Mitchell on the drive. Contact, floater. Oh, clutch. Donovan Mitchell. Oh, what a special second half again from Mitchell here in L.A. Jazz going to walk out of this building. There's a handshake from Quinn Snyder to Doc Rivers. Great respect, 2 great coaches, and the Jazz go 20-12, Matt. This was a signature win, much needed for Utah.
With that Clippers win in mind, let's dig into the archive. And with the Jazz facing the Clippers last night, we thought it would be fun to look back at a Jazz-Clippers matchup that happened on the same day 29 years ago, and the Jazz had the same 19-12 record on that day. Let's go to the Salt Palace. The Jerry Sloan-led Jazz had no problem with the Clippers. Big Mark Eaton. Throw it down, big man. But his best play might have been an assist.
Knocked away by Vaught. Picked up by Stockton. He shoots in time. Bingo!
Well executed. There was also plenty of the mailman, and boy, did he deliver.
Malone slammed dunk. Malone to Stockton. 3-on-1. Malone slammed dunk.
The mailman had 31, Stockton had 13 assists, and this guy had something to drink, clearly. If I could picture the year 1990, that guy is it.
Man.
I think I saw him on Saved by the Bell. All right, up next, more from San Antonio as the Utes prepare to face Texas in the Alamo Bowl.
And we count down the top 5 plays of the BYU football season. Plus, BYU basketball star Yoli Childs achieved a new milestone in BYU hoops history. We'll show you what that's all about coming up next. Well, the bowl season wasn't so kind to the Aggies or Cougars. Now, the Utes get their shot at a bowl win down in San Antonio. The Alamo Bowl against Texas kicks off on Tuesday night. The Utes have been on site since Christmas Day, getting ready for the Longhorns. The heart of Utah's offense this year has been Tyler Huntley. The brawn, probably running back Zach Moss. But the mastermind has been Andy Ludwig. The Utes offensive coordinator has a bit of a challenge ahead of him. Texas fired their defensive coordinator. So how does Ludwig's approach change, if at all?
Well, we are preparing for other possibilities. Again, how much can change in 3 weeks of practice? You know, I don't expect wholesale changes, but all the statistical data that we've accumulated in terms of breaking down film is pretty much useless with a new play caller calling the defenses, but you have to have a starting point to go off of. So we're going off of what we're seeing on tape.
Well, these guys have kept Tyler Huntley's back pretty clean this year. They've paved the way for Zach Moss as he became the Utes' all-time leading rusher. They really are the core of that Utah's offense. We're talking about the big heavies up front. And for those guys on the offensive line, they say it's easier to do their job knowing who they're doing it for.
I think everyone knew that we were inexperienced, or that's what everyone called us. But it was good to show everyone that what we can do. And when we have guys like Zach and Tyler behind us, it's always good. And a confident booster for us up front, knowing that we're protecting for a reason this training. I'd like to think we did really well this year.
They've been great from the beginning of the year to now. They've allowed me to do a lot of good things. Going with those guys and Coach Lowe has put me in the position to go ahead and do a lot of good things.
Now moving on to the Cougars, BYU finished the 2019 season on Christmas Eve with a 38-34 loss to Hawaii in the Hawaii Bowl. They finished 7-6 like last year, but I think there's a different feeling this year heading into the offseason.
Yeah, it definitely is. BYU's season was a bit of a roller coaster. They had those wins against Tennessee, USC, and Boise State, but the losses to Toledo and South Florida, not to mention the disappointing performances against San Diego State and Hawaii to end the year. But there were still some outstanding plays that we're going to remember from this season. So we've got our top 5 BYU football plays beginning here with Jaron Hall in for an injured Zach Wilson. With his first career start, he dials up the touchdown toss to Dax Milne. Milne hauled it in with one hand. The 35-yard strike was Hall's first career touchdown pass. The catch was Milne's second touchdown reception of the season. This is one of the highlights in what turned out to be a pretty forgettable game, though.
Match up top of the screen. 3rd and 10. Wilson going to take a shot, and that is hauled in. Hefo again. Oh, what a move from Hefo. To the end zone. Touchdown.
BYU did not win that game against Toledo, but Aleva Hefo's 75-yard touchdown, one of the most explosive plays, if not the most explosive of the season for that BYU offense, and definitely making our top 5.
Boise showing from the edge. It's a handoff to Katoa. It's a give to Hefo. It's a flea flicker and a throw to Bushman. It's complete and another touchdown!
Yeah, Baylor Romney was the 3rd quarterback to start for the Cougars this season. The reverse flea flicker to Matt Bushman for a score. The play of the game in BYU's upset over 14th-ranked Boise State.
Snap, he will throw quickly, batted up and intercepted. Did they get it? If they got it, it's over. It's over.
You could make a case for number 1 with this play, but we chose it for number 2. Diane Gawoliku's interception to clinch the victory against USC at overtime, one of the biggest wins for BYU at LaVell Edwards Stadium in quite some time.
A step up by Wilson. Deep man is open. It's caught by Simon. Oh, yeah, baby. Snap, Zach. Handoff Tyson to the 5-4-3. Pyle is pushing. He gets to the goal line.
He's in.
No signal.
He's in.
They mark him short, but he's
Touchdown,
in the end zone. Touchdown!
Yeah, there it is, our number 1 moment of the BYU football season. Micah Simon making big plays and Tyson Williams moving that giant mass of Vols into the end zone to get that big road win at Tennessee.
Sticking with the BYU theme, let's move on to hoops. Yoli Childs is making up for lost time after sitting out the first 9 games of the season, doing an injustice by the NCAA. That's my opinion. He's averaging 21 points and nearly 10 rebounds in 6 games. BYU's 5-1 in those games. He was great in another Cougar win Saturday night, 23 points. And it's a good thing because they needed all the points they could get in a 6-point battle with the Golden Eagles. In the process, Yoli moved past Mark Bigelow to move up to 10th in career scoring at BYU. He's just 4 points behind McKelly Wesley for 9th. Sorry, McKelly. Yoli's coming for you.
Utah State played their final non-conference game of the season yesterday against Eastern Oregon, and they absolutely filled up that stat sheet. 8 of the 9 Aggies that played in this game scored 12 points or more. They were led by Brock Miller's 25. The final score, 129-61. The 129 points representing the second most ever scored in a game by the Aggies as a team. So you're probably wondering what the most the Aggies ever scored was, right? Well, we were wondering the same thing. We dug it up from this gem, January 2nd, 1985, nearly 30 years ago to the day. The Aggies scored 140 points in a triple overtime 2-point loss to UNLV. Jeff Anderson scored 37, Vince Washington 36, and Greg Grant 31 for the Aggies. It was legendary head coach Jerry Tarkanian's 600th career win at that time.
Well, we've received some sad news tonight that we've lost a Utah basketball legend. Longtime college and professional basketball coach Liddell Anderson has passed away. Born in Malad, Idaho, Anderson played basketball at Utah State, where he was an honorable mention All-American. He was hired as an assistant coach by Hall of Famer Jack Gardner at Utah in 1956. He left in 1961 to coach at his alma mater in Logan. He led the Aggies to 4 trips to the NCAA tournament, which included a trip to the Elite Eight in 1970. He left Utah State to coach the ABA's Utah Stars for 2 seasons. He then returned to college coaching in 1983, where he spent 6 years at BYU, leading the Cougars to 3 trips to the NCAA tournament. Coach Anderson was 90 years old.
Great clips of the week.
And we got to start with some more from Yoli Childs. He turns an alley-oop into an assist. What a pass. One-handed to Zach Celius, who knocks down a 3, was number 9 on SportsCenter's top plays.
All right, got to respect the Heat's Derek Jones Jr. for taking it right at Rudy Gobert, the defensive player of the year, and Jones Jr. just has no respect.
But then Rudy says, hold my beer, or whatever beverage Rudy prefers. Didn't take long for Rudy to get a chance to take his frustration out on an opponent at the rim. Myers Leonard is going to need some ice.
How about the Spurs' Marco Bellinelli? Oh, Ja Morant.
You know, Ja's put so many guys on posters and yammed on so many guys. I don't even feel bad. What goes around comes around. All right, Ohio State came up short in the Fiesta Bowl against Clemson, but the best play of the game has to go to Garrett Wilson. This catch is insane. 6 feet in the air for the incredible grab. Wow. Come on now. Penn State head coach James Franklin gets a Gatorade bath, and then he turns into a middle linebacker for some reason, tackling one of his players at the Cotton Bowl. Well, whatever, they won.